Hello, Matthew. Thank you so much for submitting your work as well as this written synopsis of your experience with the campaign so far. Just want to address one comment here. You're mentioning the preference of using Illustrator over for Photoshop. Now, my recommendation as a professional designer is to get yourself as comfortable in Illustrator as you possibly can. To me, I would like all students upon graduation to say, I am just as comfortable in Illustrator as I am in Photoshop, as I am in InDesign. And that, to me, that's the ultimate goal, because presumably in your design career, you're going to be using all three of these. So you really got it would be in your best interest to get yourself to a point, a level of comfort in all three. Theoretically, this class is introducing students to the capabilities of using Illustrator in conjunction with Photoshop, and kind of moving back and forth in this seamless manner so students can understand that these programs work seamlessly with one another. That being said, one would not assemble this magazine ad using Photoshop. And theoretically, one would probably not assemble a magazine ad using Illustrator. We would probably end up using InDesign for the page layout. But that's not to say Illustrator is perfectly capable, as we have seen in this regard. Photoshop's a little different because those files in Photoshop they're gonna get huge. Now, I do know a lot of designers that print from Photoshop, so once the ad were complete, it would be placed in Photoshop and saved therein, which is it's a simple preference. That's it. But as far as your comments that you're more comfortable in Photoshop, I just think that at this point, that tells me that my recommendation to you would be to start spending more time in Illustrator, so you're just as comfortable in Illustrator as you are in Photoshop. And of course, the reason being is because you are going to use both of those programs for the rest of your career. So, all right. So just wanted to address that. Everything else is making good sense. Let's go ahead and jump over to the banner. We've got the banner ad up here. We've got the magazine ad up right here. Now, the magazine ad, I think for some reason this text here is highlighted. I'm not exactly sure why. Looks like you added that tree in there. That's an interesting touch. I like that. That looks cool. My only recommendation here in this ad is this body copy right here. It looks like it's set in bold. You definitely don't want to do that. Look how dark and heavy and how much visual weight is associated with that. We want to lighten that up a little bit by presenting that in Arial regular, not Arial bold. So let's get rid of that bold. And that's really my only recommendation. Well, actually, I lied. I have another recommendation. Right now, this purple looks different than this purple. We can see it and we look at the difference here and here. And there's no reason for that. You're just basically introducing a new color and kind of throwing off the consistency and the continuation of the color. So be sure that those colors are consistent. You're using the same color for the type in the headline as you are in the subhead, and specifically in the body copy. Now, jumping over to the magazine ad, to the banner ad, we can see that now this is completely changed to a new color. This is more pink. This is more purple. I would recommend using the purple, and you can gather that purple from the background color of the logo or from this portion of the logo right here. You can just sample that out using the eyedropper tool and then add that color to your color palette so that you can apply it to this type right here. Right now, I think there's a pretty big disconnect here based on just the color. And we can see that if we try to get these both in the same, you can see that this is just it behaves totally differently on the background than this color. So I would recommend getting that color in as that purple. This contact information, you don't need all this. This is a complete contact information with address, telephone number, website, URL, etc. All you need to include here is located in beautiful U.S. Virgin Islands or something like that. We don't, the banner itself will act as a link. It's a URL will take the viewer to the client's website. Most web surfers know that. So if we come across an ad, a banner ad on the web, we know that if we click it, it's going to go to the client's website. So this, I just think this is a little redundant to include all that information when you can only really need to include the location. Animation looks good. Good job there. I would recommend fading it in and fading it out instead of blinking in and blinking out, because it's going to add a much, much more relaxed posture. And of course, Amethyst Bay is they're looking for that kind of relaxed posture in their branding attempts. So I would recommend that we do that. Also, right in terms of hierarchy, think of a newspaper. Headline is the biggest, subhead is the next biggest, and then body copy, which this would be considered body copy. So this should be largest, then this should be considerably smaller as a subhead, and then this should be even smaller. So I think that the visual weight associated with this is a little jarring in my estimation. I'm not even, I don't think I would even include the 3D text. It just doesn't seem to fit well with the other text. Plus, it's not required. Remember, that was more of an exercise. So, and I did include that in that note in grading that you don't have to include those text effects in your final banner. And this image looks, it's good. It's good masking. Good job placing that there. I would say, however, though, it's a little bit unusual because right now you've got this what appears to be a pretty large sailboat that's in probably about 6 or 8 inches of water. So that is a little bit confusing, I think, to the viewer. And then my final recommendation is the actual logo itself. It's very, very distorted. And what I've done is I've opened this so that you can see a comparison. So if you take a look at the shape of this logo, especially this logo mark right here, and compare it to this, you can see that this has clearly been distorted. Quite typically what happens is you placed this logo into this ad and resized it. When you resized it, you didn't constrain the original aspect ratio. Basically what it looks like is you resize the vertical axis without constraining the horizontal axis, so we get this distortion. So this should be, watch my hands, it should reduce like this, not like this or like this. So it should, it should maintain the aspect ratio of the original logo upon any kind of resizing. And here we can see the distortions associated without maintaining that aspect ratio. So that's something that definitely needs to be addressed. Okay, those are my only recommendations. I think you're showing good proficiency in all of the required techniques and the objectives associated with this project. So that's good. Now all we have to do at this point is just kind of take a closer look at composition, page mechanics, and general presentation in terms of consistency and harmony between the pieces in the campaign. And that's where we're at right now. And those my comments kind of point in that direction in improving the actual page mechanics and the consistency therein. All right, so if you have any questions at all, please let me know. If you want to resubmit anything here, please have at it. Or want to run something by me as you work, that's great too. You can always post in the general questions area of the classroom. But the point is I'm here, and I'll be glad to provide further recommendations and comments should you just elect to make any adjustments. Okay, great job. Thank you very much.